Hey, what's up guys? A friend of mine sent me some footage from R Factor 2 where he was driving a M4 GT3 at Daytona, and he asked me to review it and see how we can help him get faster. We're going to use the on-screen data to help him drive. We're going to see where we can improve his driving just based on these basic forms of data, and hopefully that will allow you guys to extract more from your driving using the same simplistic forms of data. Okay, so let's go over his video here. He's going on to, I think this is a straight, turning in. Okay, already interesting line here. I want to show you guys how I think he could have taken this better. Already he's probably about 4 to 5 feet away from this wall, so it's not helping him use less steering angle going to the first corner. He also doesn't use a lot of the banking to help him approach the inside of the corner, so what I'd recommend, if you're entering a banking section and you know it's going to go to flat or you know you're about to apex, stay to the outside of the corner and then slowly track over to the inside using the banking as sort of like a downhill. So you might gain another 1 or 2 kilometers an hour faster, but it is faster. So those are all going to contribute to your overall lap time. Past the finish line. He starts to turn into corner 1 quite early, and he's entering from the middle of the track. So already we can already tell he's en route to apex early. I'm gonna guess he also overslows the car, and this is just typical of people who are conservative. So I'm not gonna say his name, but dude, already in the first corner, there's already ways for you to improve here. You're too far away from the wall, and you're starting to corner kind of early. He didn't even make it past like midway of his car from the middle of the track. He definitely could have stayed maybe another car width, another 4 to 5 feet over to the right-hand side, and I'm gonna assume take a wider line. Let's see what he does here. Okay, yeah, so that was a pretty tight line. Let's go back and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, so he actually almost like double apexes. Like there's this like little grass patch here. He gets pretty close to it. I guess naturally the car tracks out and then steers again. Let's actually watch the traction circle to see if his steering was like one big input or if he had to give a couple of smaller inputs. Yep. Yeah. Okay, so if you guys saw from the traction circle at the bottom corner there, it sort of jumped from side to side. It wasn't one big steering angle, it was a couple of like micro adjustments, and those are what's going to kill you in terms of lap time. Already this is corner 1. There's probably a couple hundredths, maybe even a tenth here that he's already lost just from incorrect line, not tracking out so much, and overturning the steering wheel initially, which sort of led to this, oh, okay, I've got to release and then get back in there, sort of doing this whole double apex thing. Let's see his braking for turn 1. I'm going to guess because he's taking a little bit more of a conservative approach, might not have been as aggressive on the brakes as he could have been. Let's see. So he's braking here. Okay, so he didn't quite reach 100%, and his brake pedal onset seemed to be kind of slow. Like, it wasn't like a step function or the almost step function that you typically want out of your braking pedal travel. So let's see it go here. Okay, so what we saw was the driver was pressing the brake pedal, but they didn't reach 100 right away. They sort of hovered a bit and then tapered off. Alternatively, they could have just shot up to 100 and then slowly got off the brakes to help the car trail in. There is time being left on the table here just because the brakes aren't being applied as efficiently as they could be. What you want is something like this. Almost step function, but not quite, because that would be like a jab and it would unsettle the car. But you know, almost a step function to slowly get the front suspension loaded and then slow taper off. And that'll allow the car to just have the most efficient braking, and it would certainly shorten their braking zone if they initially had a more aggressive brake input. The apex point looked right, just past the tires. Okay, curb. Okay, I can already see the driver starting to turn his steering wheel, and you guys can also look at the bottom corner here on the traction circle. There's already a little bit of steering input going over to the right hand side, so you know their car isn't brought all the way over. I'm gonna guess that's a little bit more than a foot. That could be 2 feet based on like this wide angle camera. If they're already 2 feet away I reckon this is going to be an early apex just based on the traction circle there. Okay, yeah, for sure. This is almost like a hairpin corner, and they're apexing before the geometric apex, which you don't want to do because that means you're just steering for way too much, scrubbing speed, and not allowing the car to take the most ideal line. So I would have rather the driver turned in later and apexed later than this, at least geometric apex point of the corner. I want to see their braking. If my theory is right, they're probably not braking as aggressively as they should, so let's watch the brake pedal. Okay, so the taper off was perfect, but let's see that brake onset. I want to see it go straight up. Okay, so again, very gradual, just like slowly getting up to 100 or the 80 mark. Okay, tracking out, pulling over to the right slowly, perfect, going over. Let's watch our braking here. Okay, braking was a little bit better there, but they missed the apex. Let's go watch that again. I was watching the brakes for a second there. Let's see the driver's line. Okay, yeah, brakes were definitely a little bit better there. They mixed the apex. Again, if you just like actually apex the car, it's not particularly a slow in, fast out corner, but you don't want to be missing your marks. Let's go over to the right-hand side. Okay, again, brake aggression is important. Let's go back, and I just want you guys to knock this down into your head. Let's be aggressive with the brakes on the initial application and then slowly taper off. They could have got onto the brakes much faster there. Let's see how quickly the driver gets back onto full throttle. For about 3 seconds there, 2 to 3 seconds, the driver had a chance to go to full throttle, but they were hovering around the 80 to 90% throttle range. And I would say that is slowing down the car a ton, especially with this upcoming section being long and banked in the corner. I'd rather the driver be flat way earlier. If they could, as soon as they finish steering, starting to straighten out the car. At this point, I would have already been flat. You're at 107 kilometers an hour. You're not going that fast. The radius ahead of you is not that wide. So there is definitely room in the tires to accelerate faster. And we can even see that from the traction circle. Like, the driver isn't really accelerating all that much. If they just went flat, they wouldn't be drastically changing the balance of the car. So we're missing out on some critical kilometers an hour of speed here just by, you know, not fully committing to the throttle. But yeah, definitely for you guys, like, aggressive brakes, aggressive throttle. Maybe I should rephrase it. Maybe it shouldn't be aggressive, but just get on as fast as you can. We're entering the bus stop here. Let's see the braking. I want to point out something here with their braking zone. The braking application, again, it was like slow to get to 100. I've said that enough times. But let's pay attention to the additional brakes that the driver is having here. This is the bus stop, and if you notice, the car's trajectory right now is almost going forward. You can see on the traction circle, they're not doing a whole lot of steering, so maybe they could have straightened out the wheel a little bit early. But the more important thing is that they're still at 80% of braking, and the road ahead of them is more or less going straight. That's problematic because obviously you're slowing down the car while the car can be going straight. So it's like pressing the brake pedal on a straightaway. I think cars generally would apex this corner a little bit faster. The driver gets to a minimum speed about 162 before they start getting back on the throttle. I reckon they probably could have done this apex here at maybe 170 and maybe almost 180 kilometers an hour, only because the car is already pointed in the right direction, and yet they were still slowing down the car. In this case, I think the brakes could have just been used to get the car pointed in the right direction, and the car's stability could have been supported with the throttle, as opposed to using the slowing down of the car to be the stability factor here. Let's see their line. They take a pretty tight line trying to exit the bus stop. I'd say maybe tracking out could be useful. So they're doing a lot of steering here. Again, I haven't driven the track and car combo, but generally, if you could take a wider steering radius, I would suggest to try it. Okay, heading on to what I believe would be the front straight. This is the last sort of banked corner. And then, yeah, okay, I believe this is the front straight. Okay, let's see if they pull over to the left this time. Nope, they stayed on the inside, so they're not really getting the most advantage as they could from the banking, similar to what they did at the beginning of the lap. I think all it takes is some more initial braking application, a couple changes to the line, a committed application to the throttle, and there's that little bit of more time to be found on this track and car combo. We extracted so much more information from just the traction circle and the pedal positions as well as the lines that the driver is using from the video, and I'm really glad we were able to help out our boy with just the basics here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hit that like and subscribe button as well as the notification bell if you guys want to keep up with all of our data and driver development activities. And if you have some of your own video or data that you want to get looked at by a pro, check out our website, b-square.io, where you guys can buy what we call a post-track report. We'll do all the data analysis work for you so we can set you up with a game plan for your next track day, so you're not going to be wasting any time, money, fuel, and tires trying to figure out all that stuff on your own. You'll have a plan, you'll have a set of goals, and you'll know exactly what you aim to be doing. That's b-square.io. Check us out. See you guys later.